Hello, welcome to the video. Today we're talking about who's going to win the Premier League title. We know what teams it's between. It's between Man City, it's between Arsenal, and it's between Liverpool. It's so close at the top. It's separating third from first, 1 point in it. Crazy title race, the best one we've had in years in terms of, who's going to win. Because it's so unclear at the moment, and it could be any of them. The tiniest of slip-ups could ruin everything for any one of these teams. It's going to be a really interesting video to make because of how high the stakes are and why I feel a certain team's going to win it and why I feel a certain team will miss out. But what better club to start with than my own, Man City. I think we're considered the favourites, even though we have 63 points, even though Arsenal and Liverpool are tied on 64, so we are third at the moment. I feel like we are still the favourites because, we got the know-how, and when we click, we click. We've become unstoppable at certain points of the season. You saw it last season. You've seen it seasons before. Remember when City went on that 20-win streak and United ended it? United, of all teams, man, it hurt, but it's the facts. City we get unstoppable at certain points. And although I don't feel like we're going to have that win streak, I think we're going to maintain an unbeaten streak from now until the end of the season. I'd like to point out Brighton away has been postponed, but the date for when that game will actually take place I don't believe has been announced, so I've just left them at the top for now. And I think we'll win there. De Zerbi's team hasn't been too great recently, lots of injuries in there, so they have struggled. I'm pretty sure they've been battered 4-0 by Luton not too long ago. I'm confident there. Arsenal, it's at the Etihad. We know the stakes, they know the stakes, but I feel like we will have an edge. We'll just be able to get past him. KDB loves playing against Arsenal, and hopefully he can deliver a goal or two, maybe 3. But as long as it's enough to win, I really won't mind. Villa, fair to say that they haven't been the same since that December period, when they absolutely bossed us. The best performance I've seen against us by a long mile. Some people say Liverpool's second half was brilliant, and it was. But in terms of a whole 90-minute game, Aston Villa, they had us from start to finish. We had 2 shots, We had a lot of shots versus Liverpool. At times, we should have scored. But Villa just locked us down. We couldn't do anything. I know it was a bad blip of form for us, but you can't take anything away from Villa for that. Palace and Luton, I think, will beat, we have to beat these kind of teams. Luton at the Etihad as well should be ours. Palace will be a bit more difficult because it's away. But in my opinion, other than Arsenal, the biggest game we have here is Tottenham. And I feel like we're going to draw there, which is why we only get 7 points. I feel like we're going to draw there just because it's Tottenham's ground. I know we beat them this season there, but I don't know. Maybe the Premier League curse will still continue, but I hope as long as we don't lose, I really don't mind. Of course I do mind, I'd like us to win every game from now until the end of the season, but a draw here isn't the worst result. Nottingham Forest away, I think we'll win. Nottingham Forest are in a relegation battle. They will be fighting for their lives at this point. Of course, that is where relegation teams are at their most dangerous, when it's the business end of the season and, there's only a few points in it. They need any point they can get. They sit 17th in the league making this video. Just 3 points off Luton, who are bottom. No, 3 points off Luton, who are 18th. And in relegation zone, so it's really, really close. That goes for Luton as well, to be honest. They'll be fighting for their lives, but I don't know. I think we'll get the better of both of them because we have to. Wolves at home. I really rate Wolves this season. 9th in the league, 41 points. They're doing so good under Gary O'Neill. I don't think Bournemouth should have ever sacked him, but hey ho, not my club, I'm not too bothered. I think Wolves will cause us trouble, but again, I feel like we'll win because we have to. It's at the Etihad. The Etihad games are the games you have to win. And that's what I feel like we're going to do. Wolves, no doubt, they'll make it difficult for us. I don't even know if they'll get a goal, Getting a goal, I wouldn't take that away from them. They are a threat, Wolves, and hopefully we can just get past them. Fulham away, again, not necessarily easy. They're 12th in the league at the moment. But maybe they'll be in a bit of a cruise mode at that point, because I think they're safe from relegation. How many points are they off Luton? 11. 14 points off Luton. As long as they don't have an absolutely shocking back end to the season, they'll be safe from relegation. And hopefully they might just be in cruise mode, and essentially that's it, you get the win. Not because they like us or anything, but that's just how football goes sometimes. Sometimes the mid-table teams don't really care at the end of the season because it's not really going to affect them anymore. Sometimes, sometimes they do, and they want to get as high as they can. And West Ham home, again, this is the day we have to win. Because it's going to be so close at the top, we just have to win this game. If we don't, it's damaging for us in every sense. So we've got to go and win this. Because if we don't, we potentially lose this title on the final day. That's what it's coming down to. But there you go. That's how many points I feel like City are going to earn this season, from now until the end of the season. You can count that up if you want, but also at the end of the video it's going to be all counted up on my final Premier League table. For the top 3, by the way, it's not the whole 20, but for the top 3. But that's how many points we're going to get, and without further ado, let's just jump straight on to Arsenal. There you go, I messed up that completely, I misclicked. Oh man, that's shocking. Anyway, Arsenal, they got some big games coming up. I feel like they got the most difficult run out of the 3 teams, and I'll get into that now. They got Chelsea at home, and I think they'll beat them, to be honest, but it is still Chelsea. It is still a London derby. It's not going to be easy. I know it's not as big as the North London derby, which is coming in this run. So, it's going to be by no means easy against Chelsea. I think Chelsea will put up a fight. They tend to against the Big Six, or especially against City anyway. They tend to put up a fight. And this is Liverpool, actually, when they lost. What was it? Chelsea lost 4-2, 4-1, something like that. But yeah, Chelsea. Hopefully, they'll do something, but I don't think they will. Again, that game's been postponed, by the way, so the next game is actually us, but I'm leaving it there because we don't know when it's actually going to get played. Man City, I've already said, I think they're going to lose to us. It's at the Etihad, and I fully back us at the Etihad. And Arsenal is an all-or-nothing game, I feel, for City. We can't let Arsenal go 4 points above us. Luton at home, they'll win. The home, again, at home, Arsenal just tend to destroy teams lower than them, so, yeah. Brighton, I've already said it, I don't feel like they are what they were under De Zerbi last season. That is due to injuries, but, by no means a bad team. Brighton, maybe they can actually do something. Last season, they beat Arsenal 3-0 at the Emirates. I know Arsenal capitulated, but you can't take that away from De Zerbi and his Brighton team. Aston Villa home, again I'm going for an Arsenal win here. I just don't feel like they're going to drop points. I don't feel like Emery's team's the same as it was. I feel like a big reason why they beat us and Arsenal back to back is because they were at their ground back to back, and so, but when it's the other way around, I feel like we'll get the better of them personally. And Wolves away, I feel like they'll draw here. Wolves not an easy place to go. If I have a quick look at their home form, I'm looking here, win against Fulham, win against Brighton, win against Sheffield. They did lose to Brentford, and they barely lost to United. But you know what I'm saying. Their home form's not too bad, and at the end of the season, where they could be potentially pushing for, European football, it's going to be crucial for them to get any points that they can, because European football is not ridiculous for Wolves. What? 2 points off 7th. That's Conference League football right there. So they are in the fight for that, as well as Brighton. So that's a potential banana skin for Arsenal. I think they will draw there, personally. Now then, Tottenham away. I think they'll win. Big derby. But I think Arsenal will win. I think they'll rise up to the occasion, personally. Because I feel like it's that kind of game. Arsenal fans will be worried about it, but then Arsenal will go and do the business there and just get the job done. As their fans need them to, even if it is at Tottenham's new ground. Well, not new ground, but Tottenham's ground. I feel like Arsenal will just about get through. Bournemouth, they'll smash. Emirates, I've already mentioned it. The power there that they have, they feel unstoppable. If we're being honest. Man United, though, this is the one for me. I feel like this is the one that they maybe slip up on, and which could damage their season massively. I've already put them to drop a lot of points, I know. They've already dropped 5 points on my little table, league or whatever. But I don't know, I just feel like United, they'll sit back. Maybe they'll even give it a go, because at this point in the season, maybe they're going to be pushing for that 5th spot still, which could be Champions League, but they might even just still be in the fight for Europe overall. It's going to be difficult. United will want Champions League football though, and by this time of the season, it's going to be tough, and maybe they'll just go for it and give Arsenal a game. They'll have a lot of players back by then, and I feel like when United do have players, their squad's not actually half bad. So, yeah. Moving on to Everton. Yeah, they'll win. They'll smash that. They did it last season, I'm pretty sure. Their last game of the season was against Everton, and I think they won 4-0. So I'm expecting the same here, if I'm being honest. Now then, moving on to, in my opinion, City's biggest competitors, Liverpool. Look, I think they're going to win the 3 games at the top. They'll beat Everton away. It is a derby, anything can happen. But again, I feel like they'll get through that. By the way, again, Everton has been postponed. We don't know when it's going to be happening though, so I've just left it at the top, like I've mentioned already. But Brighton at home, they'll do that, and as same goes for Sheffield United, they'll batter both of them. United away, I'm in a rock and a hard place with this one, because a bit of me feels Liverpool United, it's at Old Trafford. They'll probably win, if I'm being honest. That's what one half of me is saying, but then the other half is Liverpool couldn't beat United at Anfield. And at Anfield, where Scott McTominay was captaining them. No Bruno, no Maguire, probably. I'm not too sure, but they couldn't beat them there. I'm not saying that means they can't beat them here, but it just means that becomes a bit trickier. So yeah, I'm putting them down for 7 points here, because I think they're going to beat Palace and Fulham relatively easily. Now then, a very difficult back end to the season here with Liverpool. West Ham away, Tottenham at home, Villa away, Wolves at home. Really, really tough. It's going to be a very difficult end to the season for them. I think they've got the hardest final 4 matches, if I'm being honest. It's a tough run, especially for a back end run. West Ham away, I think they'll win. I think it might be one of those last minute goal kind of ones. That kind of situation, personally. So yeah, I'm going to go for West Ham loss there. The Liverpool win there, just. Tottenham at home. I suspect Tottenham will make it difficult. They play good football. They'll have probably the whole squad by that time. I don't even know if they do now. I know Maddison is back, fit and firing. So we'll see how that goes, I suppose. Going to be tough for Liverpool playing Spurs, and Spurs will be up for it because of the top 4 battle, pushing for 4th spot. As the table stands, they're 2 points behind Villa with a game in hand, but yeah, they will be going all out on that one. I would suspect. I think they'll take the fight to them. Villa away. It's so hard. I feel like Liverpool will get a draw here just because of how difficult the run is. But I'm struggling to pick which one. Because I think they'll beat Wolves final day of the season. They know they have to. And I think they'll beat West Ham. For me, it's between Tottenham and Villa. It's going to be really difficult. I'm not sure which is harder because you could say Tottenham because bigger team and maybe better team. Because it is at Anfield. But then Villa, they're playing them at Villa Park. Villa Park form for Aston Villa is pretty good. I know they had just got battered 4-0 by Tottenham there, but it was known to be pretty good towards December time, and maybe they can regain a bit of that in the push for top 4. So, you know, they're fighting 2 teams there that'll be going all out for that top 4 spot. And then they also play Wolves, and they're pushing for European football. So it's a really difficult run-in for Liverpool. The same goes for West Ham. It's very difficult, and I feel like they'll drop a point somewhere. They'll drop 2 points somewhere because of it. That concludes who I think is going to win what in terms of points. I don't know if you agree with me. Let me know if you agree. But the moment you may have been waiting for, who do I think is going to win the league based off these points? You may already know because you may have already calculated it and added it all up. But I feel like, you know what's happening if you have added it. But I feel like this is going to be the final table of all the points that I've done. 91 points for City, 90 for Liverpool, and 87 for Arsenal. A crazy finish to a season. So close, honestly. It's ridiculously close for an ending of a season. It's gonna be something to look out for, of course. I might be wrong, and I could very well be wrong because of how close it is. But I wouldn't be surprised if, a couple of these places could swap around. It's going to be such a good end to the season. Let me know who you think is going to win the Premier League. It's going to be very difficult for all of them, I'm sure. Lots of high intense moments, but that's why we love the Premier League, because of the moments where you're on the edge of your seat and maybe even shaking in nerves. But thank you all for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was still liking. Let me know if you want more like this. And let me know if you agree with me. You could argue I'm being biased because of City, but, to be expected. I think a Liverpool fan, if they made this video, they put Liverpool above us, and that is fair. Thank you all for tuning in. Let me know what you think. Let me know who's going to win the Premier League. And, yeah, I'll see you all in the next one.